So, Shannon, who is most to blame for the Cowboys' loss?
Yeah, Shannon.
Tell us. I thought Zach Martin, Tyron Smith, Lyle Collins, because had they been there, they would have been able to tackle Lamar Jackson and that vaunted running. Oh, my bad. No, it's the defense. They've been terrible all year, Skip, and I've been trying to tell you this, Skip.
No, I've been trying to tell you this.
No. This team, we going places. We're going to do. You're not going anywhere. First of all, you're allowing over 5.2 yards a carry, which is the third worst since the merger, 168 yards a game. Skip, did you know the top 2 rushing games have come against your Cowboys? 3 of the top 6 have come against your Cowboys. There have been 2 games in which 3 players on the same team has rushed for at least 70 yards in the same game. Okay. Did you know both of those games?
So who's to blame? Who's to blame? You haven't answered the question yet. We know all that. We get it.
Who's to blame?
Yeah.
Who's out there on the field?
Oh.
No, last year, hold on. First of all, last year you blamed Jason Garrett. Everything that went wrong, Jason Garrett. You screamed on the table, Jason Garrett.
Yep.
Be done with him. You get Mike McCarthy.
I was doing that since 2012, but
okay,
go ahead.
But you said Mike McCarthy is a made man. And I sat on this very chair right here and told you, I say, Skip Bayless, you got to be careful with Mike McCarthy because he had 2 guys that won 5 MVPs and had gone to 3 Super Bowls. Yeah. So you got to be careful how you estimate him. Oh, no, he a made man. He made Aaron Rodgers. Now you get an opportunity to see just how good Aaron Rodgers is, and Aaron Rodgers made Mike McCarthy because Mike McCarthy looked like he has no idea, like he's never, ever coached before.
But Aaron Rodgers hasn't been to the Super Bowl for 10 years.
And Mike McCarthy ain't going to the playoffs. So let that sink in.
Okay.
Skip, look, if we give Jerry Jones, look, there's enough blame to go around. This defense is terrible, Skip. We know it's terrible. And as soon as we get off this notion, America's team, if we stop listening to Skip Bayless and Pro Football Focus tell you how talented this team is, go ask the offense.
No, wait a second. That's just a fact. Over the last 10 years, who's had the second most Pro Bowl players in the National Football League? Of the last 10 years. Second most, Dallas Cowboys, right?
What have you done?
Kansas City first.
What have you done?
Well, that's talent. It's there, right?
Skip. Even the Jets got talent.
Okay.
You don't get to this level without being talented.
They had the second most Pro Bowlers over the last 10 years.
And they've done the exact same thing you've done, not gone to the Super Bowl. So what have you done? Again, what you want to do, talk about this day. We got talent, we got this. All I know is this, is that after that 307-yard rush game against the Browns, this is what DeMarcus Lawrence said. We've got to hold ourselves to a higher standard. We've got to play together as one. And I don't feel like we're holding ourselves accountable, including myself. I call this bleep soft, and we will get better from it.
Okay. All right. So who you blaming? You blaming DeMarcus Lawrence?
I'm blaming, listen, who put the team together?
Oh, you're blaming Jerry Jones? Okay.
You give him credit? Jerry says, I want credit when I put this together. I accumulated this. But Skip, look, at some point in time, I'm gonna put the lion's share of the blame on the players. Because I got a few clips I want to show you, Skip. And you keep Skip, Skip, you know I don't even like to do this.
You know, I wouldn't know because I didn't watch the game.
Okay, you didn't watch the game? Yeah. Watch this right here. Now I want you to tell me whose fault is this? It's 4th and 2. It's 4th and 2.
I know exactly. Before I even see it, it's Leighton Vander Esch. He took the bait on a fake on sweep left.
Skip.
What are you doing?
Skip.
What are you doing? Look at him. He ran clear to the flank, to the flat. What are you doing?
He's out there like a blind dog in a meat house. Yep. Now, they pulled 2 guys that probably weigh between the 2 of them 700 pounds. And you think on 4th and 2, they're going to send a back. They're going to hand the ball to the back with no blockers.
Okay, and to his credit, Leighton Vander Esch after the game said that was all on me.
Skip, he didn't have to say it. We watching it. Look at this.
I know.
They pull O'Brien. O'Brien is 6'8", 350.
Yep.
They pull Bozeman.
Where are you going?
Oh, that's my fault. Like we didn't know it was your fault.
And by the way, the ball fake is to the front. So it's like here, Leighton, see, I'm going to pull it right straight back. It's not even to the side.
What about this is the same one, Skip. Yep. He going to talk about, that's my fault. Oh, we know it's your fault. We know that's where you're supposed to be.
Well, at least he owned it.
I don't know. That might not have been his fault because I don't really know the defense they're supposed to be in. We got any more, Jim? I mean, what we got? Because I want to show Skip that Skip wants to blame Mike Nolan. But Mike Nolan did not.
Tell me, is it my turn now?
No.
Oh, okay.
Hold on. So Mike Nolan said, look, normally if they pull 2 guards, those 2 guards are going to take you to the plate. Where's he going? That's not his key.
He took the fake. He took the
And that's Mike Nolan's fault.
Well, is it my turn?
Yes, your turn.
Okay, thank you. Are you ready?
Go ahead. I'm ready.
Thank you very much. Okay, before I launch on this, and I'm going to flat out unleash on this, I'm going to tell you, first of all, who I will not blame for last night, and it starts with the quarterback who played very well. Andy Dalton played well enough to win that football game on the road against a very good defense.
No, that's not very good, Skip. They can't rush the passer. Stop it.
Andy Dalton, listen, not rushing the passer. My two undrafted kids, my bookend tackles, one's a rookie, one's a second-year player, undrafted tackles. They kept Andy Dalton fairly clean. He was finally sacked once in the fourth quarter, and that's it for the whole game. And would you believe that Dallas had 20 first downs passing? Guess how many Lamar had passing first downs? 2. 20-2. Can you believe that? Would you believe Dallas won the time of possession by 5 minutes? You know why? Because the other team just kept gashing them with runs, and they scored so fast it didn't really matter. Lamar made 2 throws the whole night. He made one for a touchdown, then one to Hollywood for a second touchdown, and they were really good throws. That's all they needed. So it was 34-17, and my team had 20 passing first downs to 2 for your team.
Skip,
do you like that?
What if I told you my team had more rushing yards than your team had passing yards?
Well, I think so. I would hope so.
Why you hope so?
Wild.
So you think it's easier to run the football or throw the football in today's game?
Against my defense?
Okay, then. Okay.
Would you believe that my Dallas Cowboy defense ranks 6th in the league against the pass? It's because everybody says, we don't need to throw.
Exactly.
How many teams come in and say, we don't need to throw to win this game? Everybody needs to throw to win every game. What's the whole point? What's the whole goal of every team? We got to make them throw it to beat us, right?
Yes.
We got to stop the run first.
Yes.
My team stops the pass because people don't pass against them.
Of course.
They just say, well, we'll just run it.
It's easier.
Right? Okay, it's much easier. All right, so here we go. What is run stopping mostly about? Well, let's just start with heart, guts, desire. You know, like pride, all that, what DeMarcus Lawrence said back after the Cleveland game. It's about playing a little mad.
Right.
It's about going out and saying, we're just not going to take this bleep anymore, right?
Yeah, but they take it every week.
Okay,
though.
they take it every week. That was a quit game by my defense. And I loved it that it finally ended. And if we could hear this, I think you can hear it on the audio on this tape. It's a 5-yard walk-in touchdown by Dobbins, the rookie. And you can hear Orlando Brown from the University of Oklahoma, the tackle for the Ravens. Let's see if we can hear what he yells. It's not easy money running against Dallas. It's the easy money that DeMarcus Lawrence is earning. He's earning $21 million to make one tackle last night. Did you hear his name called?
I did not.
No, you did not, because I don't know what he was doing last night. How about Jalen Smith? At least he led the team in tackles. He must have been out of position 15 times last night, chicken with head cut off, just running around crazy. He makes $11 million. So those two alone, right? If we add up the $32 million, is that not easy money that they made last night?
Get out, buddy.
Thank you.
Get
Thank you. Okay, now let's get to the strategy. This is why I am done with Mike Nolan. They have rejected whatever he's trying to teach, because stopping the run is all about gap integrity.
Gap responsibility.
You know, it's just gap control.
That's it.
You have an assignment. It's the old Belichick. You have to do your job, right?
Do your job.
And it should be very clear. You've got this gap, and you've got this gap, and here, and the two backers are supposed to fill the gaps that are open, right? I don't know where the linebackers are. I don't know what happened to my two rising stars. In 2018, they were all over the field from sideline to sideline. They would not remember the game against New Orleans at Jerry World on that Thursday night, in which they just shut down and out Drew Brees and company.
Come on,
Yeah, and they couldn't run a lick because my two backers are just flying from sideline to sideline. I don't know what happened to either one of them. But last night...
Press clippings happen.
Maybe money happened. Maybe easy money happened. But last night, they didn't show up because nobody showed up. And I had one little ray of hope named Donovan Wilson, and you've noticed him the last 3 games. He is a thumper. He will lay the wood. And out of nowhere last night, he was listed as questionable after practice, but he did practice, so I thought, well, he's going to be okay. He was not okay. He didn't play last night. So there's no thumper in the secondary. Xavier Woods was a disaster in the secondary. I just don't know how he can keep his job. And now we're back to a guy who was recently cut by the Baltimore Ravens, Earl Thomas. I kept telling you, if I have any chance this year, they just got to close their eyes and plunge on a guy with baggage. And I get it that Baltimore dumped him after Seattle dumped him, and we know why. And it was not pretty.
And the Houston Texans, they're struggling defensively, and they said, no, we
They
good.
voted as a team. They just said, no, we don't want him in this. And look at them. Could they use him? Yeah, they could use him. Dallas could have used him. So all of a sudden I'm saying, my safeties are horrible. My defense just laid down and quit last night because that's almost 300 yards after Cleveland got 307. So that's almost 300 games. That's 2 more of 200 plus. And that's 10 out of 12 games they've played in which the opponent went over 100 yards.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
well over 100, not no 105, 101. They way.
Well, Atlanta had 113. That was the closest to 100. But they held the Giants to 89. I don't know how. And yet I did get a little excited when they held Pittsburgh to 46. But Pittsburgh is horrible running the football.
They are.
You know, they're ranked 29th in rushing. That is correct. 29th in rushing.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was a misconception. It was misleading that they held them down to 46 yards.
Correct.
Okay, so now let's get back to my man, CeeDee Lamb. He has been at the precipice of the last 2 games because he dropped a huge pass late third quarter against Washington on Thanksgiving Day that hit him right in the hands in the end zone that would have tied the game going to the fourth quarter. So last night, he was in the middle of 2 big plays. And again, I still love him, and I still think he's had a terrific first year in the league. Right. But the first play happens in this final drive at the end of the half. And I don't know how. I know this is when it's insult to injury. You know, we've had so many injuries, and all of a sudden you get insulted by the referees because CD gets loose up the sideline, and he just gets flat out grabbed. It's just like, I got to grab you because you're gone. Andy Dalton makes a nice throw running cross-body to his left. He's got a little bit of athletic ability, actually. And CeeDee gets grabbed, and he looks for the flag, and there's no flag. How do you not call that?
Play football.
Huh?
Play football.
Play football. So it's okay to go ahead and grab him if he's run past you? Okay. You know what? That gets called, I'm going to say 98.
He threw the ball out of bounds.
Oh, it doesn't matter. That's a grab. That's just a flat-out grab. And they don't call it. That's at least to give me a field goal to cut it to 17 or 13. 17. He might have missed it because he was 1 for 4. But I think that would have been close enough. I don't think he would have missed that one. Then here's the argument that I made on Monday about the Greg Williams play. Dumbest play, the dumbest strategy ever. This is why maybe you shouldn't just rush 3, because on the final play of the half, Baltimore rushes only 3.
No, they rushed 1.
Well, whatever they did.
Look at this, Skip. Okay. They got 1 guy. Look at this. They got 6 guys.
They got 3 guys up near the line of scrimmage.
To do what?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing.
Exactly.
I have no idea. But it gave Andy Dalton time and time and time
for them to get down the field.
Wait and wait and try to post up CeeDee Lamb, and then he could just rear back and throw it as far as he could, and he's still got a pretty good arm. CeeDee Lamb has to catch that ball.
He does.
He made those catches in college. He made the catch of the year at Minnesota, and that's one. That's not that hard of a catch to me. Is somebody tugging on him or pulling on him? Maybe, but I don't care. If you get basically 2 hands on that football, you got to come down with it. Would that not have changed the momentum going to halftime if it's 17-all? Maybe you feel a little differently. I know it's Baltimore's ball after the second half kickoff, but still, you'd come out of halftime thinking, okay, here we go. We got a shot here. Instead, your stud rookie that I called the best receiver in the draft, and that's starting to be debatable.
No, Jefferson is hands down, clearly.
It's not hands down.
See,
CeeDee Lamb is really good.
Skip, you do realize Jefferson has more receiving yards at this point than Randy Moss.
Okay, I thought you said it was Jerry Jeudy.
No, I'm saying right now.
Okay, all right. But the point is, my man CeeDee shortchanged me on that one, just as he did at the end of the third quarter against Washington. Those are plays that a stud rookie, a guy that you stole with the 17th overall pick, if you make those 2 plays, we might be having different conversations, and he just left me low and dry. So here's the point. Baltimore comes into that game and runs the ball down our throats. And I want to remind everybody, they had lost Ronnie Stanley. He's a first-team All-Pro left tackle, right?
Yes.
And that kid Phillips that they drafted, their 3rd-round pick, he was a starter at guard, and he's on IR.
Right.
So you're down 2 stud linemen. We're down 4.
And they lost their equivalent of Zach Martin, Marshall Yonda, retired, who's been a many times All-Pro.
He's been a flat-out rock in the middle of that.
Yeah.
Okay, and obviously they did not have Mark Andrews last night on offense. And
Bowles.
And that's correct. He's their blocking
at the best.
Okay. And they didn't, for what it's worth, they didn't have Des Bryant, who would have been kind of an emotional touchstone for them last night that they all would have fed off of. And I told you they'd try to get him 4 or 5 balls and see how that goes. And we're going to talk about him in a few minutes. What happened? He tested positive for COVID, obviously, just before the game. So they had lots going on against them. And now I'm looking at a defense that is allowing 168 yards a game, which is by far the worst in the league because the Texans are next at 151 yards.
Right.
So
you mean rushing?
Rushing.
Yeah,
I'm talking about rush yards against, okay?
Yes.
And now my overall defense is allowing 33 points a game. That is dead last.
Dead last.
Dead last in the National Football League. And I keep asking you, how can Mike Nolan keep his job after that? Because I'm sorry, you can't.
You last in points allowed, rush yards allowed, yards per carry allowed. So 3 of the defensive categories. But, Skip, at the end of the day, Skip, like you said, it's about fit. It's about your responsibility. Do we got that play with Sean Lee and Fluker? Do we got a couple of those plays? Because I think we need to show the people at home what's going on. Now, I'm sure Mike Nolan's not teaching this. Look at Sean Lee. Well, I mean, what's Mike Nolan supposed to do to that? You can't be on your back, Skip. Look at this. Look at the power. Look at this.
They are getting blown off the ball every time, blown off the ball.
I mean, Gus Edwards and Hill, they were getting the ball, Skip, and they weren't getting touched for 4 or 5 yards.
Yeah.
Look, come on. Where's the coverage and the pass to Boykin? Skip, Boykin was so wide open, I could have threw that one.
Okay, but I had my backup safety, Darian Thompson. I don't know what he was doing. It looked like he was supposed to. Everybody else was in man, and Darian Thompson, number 23, tell me where he goes. He goes nowhere. He just stands he's playing zone. He's
doing like everybody else, false reads. Okay. Normally, Skip, here's the thing. If it's a running play, and the receiver, why would the receiver run by me if it's a running play? Wouldn't he block me if the ball is coming my side? You're like, why is he running past me? Well, let me chase him. Because normally, Skip, look at animals, Skip. When one run, they all take off. They don't look around, well, I wonder why he's running. Well, if you're a defensive back and the receiver come by me and he's running, and I'm going to follow him, see where he's going. Dude, you think it's a run play, but the receiver run by you, he don't block you. And you don't think anything suspicious about that.
The only animals who don't run in a pack are the buffalo. That's why they're almost extinct.
No. Oh, I'm talking, Skip. Here's the thing, though. If one starts running, the others don't look around like, well, I wonder why he's running.
Yep.
Something chasing.
I got it. So, in the end, if I look at any positive, ain't
no positive.
I thought Zeke looked a little sleeker and a little quicker last night. And yet, mid-third quarter, they're starting to move the ball again, and here we go again. And I'm like, where is Zeke? Because Pollard's in the game. And Zeke was on the sideline because he had one of these. We're all the way we're getting to mid-December here. We've played 12 games, and you're still not in shape enough to go the distance? Really?
Skip, I don't really know what they're doing in practice, but obviously, Skip, you're not, because it's the pandemic, so that means you're gonna have to get a lot of conditioning on your own. You're gonna have to do things on your own to keep your conditioning up, because a lot of it's meetings and all those things, and you got to have the mask on, and so but this is unacceptable, Skip. Your defense is bad. Now, last year we blamed Rod Marinelli. We blamed Chris Richard. We blamed Jason Garrett. At some point in time, you're going to run out of coaches to blame, and you're going to have to put the blame on the players on the field. At some point, that's what you're going to have to do now. Okay. You can't keep firing coaches and hiring coaches and firing coaches and hiring coaches because for the most part, those guys were there last year. Awuzie and Wolf Hunter and Jalen Smith and D-Law, and those guys were there last year. And we said it was Chris Richard, and we said it was Rod Marinelli. Now, I get this defense was basically constructed to be a 43. which is a 4-down lineman, and now he's got it playing a 34 skip, and you have D-Law standing up. Now, Alden Smith can play that because that's what he played when he was in San Francisco. Yeah, he's suited for that.
As much of a revelation as he's been, I don't even remember him making a single play last night.
He got out of position a couple of times. Skip, the thing is, when you're playing a guy like Lamar or you're playing a guy like Kyler Murray, Skip, you must honor your responsibility because if you let them get to the edge, they're gone, Skip.
Okay, so I'm going to remind you, Jerry Jones had to cut 8 free agents that he signed because most of those 8 had mutinied against Mike Nolan, and they were responsible for the anonymous quotes that Jane Slater had on NFL.com and NFL Network. And so Jerry said, okay, at midseason, that's enough. I'm going to cut bait with every last one of them. And I thought they had really improved on defense just on experience, just on bringing in some guys who had played before and knew how to play.
No.
They all rejected Mike Nolan's teaching, his new strategy, his new direction on defense. And now, last night, it looked like they had all rejected it.
Skip, you gave up 100 yards on 7 carries. Skip, that's college. You don't do that in the NFL. 7 carries, dude has 101. Lamar had 94. Okay. Dobbins had 71.
The only defense of that is you realize the Ravens are now #1 in rushing in the NFL.
Yeah.
And you know, Cleveland has led in rushing most of the year.
Yeah.
So those are the 2 worst games. The 3rd worst game was against Arizona at home, 2-1. They're 4th in rushing.
Yeah.
So at least you're giving up these crazy yards to the best rushing teams.
Skip, if I go into a game and I know what you do really well, what am I trying to take away? I'm going to make – what does everybody else do? Make Lamar Jackson throw the football. That's how they got those 4 losses, 5 losses on their resume, because they forced him to throw the football. Well, if you let them run wild, you can't beat them.
And for much of the night last night, Lamar did not look very good to me.
No.
He threw some mystery passes to me.
Well, I think it's motion, Skip, because it's too inconsistent. Because you watch him throw the interception, and you see how the ball comes out of the overthrow, and then you watch him wheel and throw the ball to Hollywood Brown, and you're like, well, damn. And then he has Boykin wide open in the end zone, and he skips it to him. His motion is too inconsistent. If he corrects that, I believe you'll see his completion percentage go up, and you'll see a better player.
Easy money. That's what we have become. Easy money.
You say how many players you say Jerry cut at midseason?
8.
He might need to cut 8 more.
Oh.
He might need to cut 8 more.
Well, you can't cut the guy making $21 million.
Why not?
Well, can you cut Carson Wentz?
Whoa, there you go.
We are
about to. We are about to.
Speaking of, let's talk about the Eagles. Will they have more magic with another backup quarterback?
Yep.
Yes, coming in for your guy, Shannon, Carson Wentz. That's next.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.